You have tuned into Breaking the Mask of Depression with your host, Diva with Depression.
Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to Breaking the Mask of Depression with me, your host, the Diva with Depression. How have you guys been doing? I feel like I've been gone for like forever. Last month, I did rebroadcast for every week because I had a lot going on. Aside from the shithole that I've been spiraling down, and for the past 6 to 8 months, it just seems to be getting crazier and crazier. I hope you guys missed me. Did you even notice? I don't think so. I think I'm hurt. Anyway, the second reason why is because I had some dental work done. Some major dental work done that has been going on for the past couple of months. And I just could not get it together, feel better. And, one day I will share with you guys. I will get the courage to share my story, to not feel ashamed. I share a lot of stuff with you guys, but there are things that I haven't discussed because I'm embarrassed about a lot of stuff, and it takes courage to share some of those things. So I will just say that depression and medications, I've been on medication straight since 2004 or so. Before that, I did take it, but regularly since I had my breakdown, right before I had my breakdown in 2004 or 5. So, what is that, 18 years straight taking medication? And no matter what anybody tells you, chronic illnesses and medication, when you have to take a medication for a chronic illness, the medication does start to mess with you physically. And yes, your teeth will struggle. First of all, when you have mental illness, that you don't take care of yourself. Sometimes you don't tend to your hygiene, you don't clean up, you don't dress well, you don't dress up, I should say. You just let your maintenance go. And so that contributes to different things going on in your body. And then, being sick, your mental messes with your physical messes with your mental. It's all a cycle in a circle. And it's pretty fucked up sometimes. I'm telling you from experience. So, yes, I had some major dental work done due to the destruction that depression and medication has caused. And that's just by dental work. We're not even going to get into the other body parts that are falling the fuck apart. Anyway, so yes, I did miss you guys. This month, I'm back live. I may sound a little funny sometimes, but I'm back. This month, I think that I'm going to try to do a few episodes about family and parents. And you guys know that the parent thing is a touchy subject with me, but the anniversary of my biological father passing away is coming up, and that combined with the holidays and being by myself, it's a struggle. But I felt that it was a time where I can at least talk about my father's situation and maybe bring some other people on to share their story also. So look forward to that. Listen, I'm not even going to have a formal show tonight. The world is a shit show. It is a complete shit show. You got the Orange Man going to jail. You got all of his minions going to jail. We have a war going on. We have poverty. We have recession, inflation. But listen, I went to the store and I maybe had 5 bags, and that is 1 bag for bread so it wouldn't smush. $62. And I'm one person. I live alone. And I spent $62 on groceries. And what the fuck did I get? I just came back from the store getting my medication. And, I bought 3, 4 things, to eat, and $40. I don't get it. But, like I said, the shit show continues. COVID, I know people don't want to talk about it, and I know that they're not publicizing it, but the numbers are extremely high. And I can tell you this personally because I do know people that are struggling with it, have recently struggled with it. And so, that combined with this horrible flu that's going around, we have so much shit going on. And how do you cope? How do you cope? I was watching someone on Instagram earlier, and they were talking about how do you not, acknowledge what's going on in the world? How do you not talk about it? How do you not let it um, wound you, so to speak? It's breaking your soul. The world is heartbreaking, and so what are we going to do? Because yes, all of these things are real. Take the war, for example. What I'm going through mentally has nothing, no comparison to what people in those spaces are going through. But if you're humanity, if you're a member of the human race, how do you stop it from affecting you, especially when you have empath- empath- empaths like myself? Everything touches me. My brother's like, my brother's always teasing me about how everything just wounds my soul, but it does. I just, there are days when I go through social media and I cry. And especially the last 2 months, I don't know what the hell is going on, but my emotions are on overdrive and everything makes me cry. Don't tell anybody I said that, but it does. And so, how do you move through the world and not let these things affect you? And closer to home, you have the crime rate in the world, period. But I know here in North Carolina, it's every day. It's starting to get like my hometown, New York. New York, every day was sirens, police cars, and the news was full of crime. But now it seems to be everywhere. My daughters and we all live in 3 different states. And so that means that I pay attention to what's going on here in my hometown and where I live. And then I pay attention to their states also. And, it's like every day it's something in either one of their hometowns. So how do you cope with what's going on in the world? And how do you stop it from taking you down the rabbit hole? And I would love to hear, if you guys want to email me, message me, DM me, whatever, and let me know how you go about sort of shielding yourself from what's going on in the world. If you have, family members, children in the home with you, how do you shield them from it? Especially children. How do you? I remember, I can't remember exactly what was going on in the world, but I know that I would always have to sit down with my girls and talk to them about the different things going on in the world. And, my girls are very good at staying on top of current events and in the different communities. So that made it easier to talk to them. But what made it difficult is it's hard as a parent to share the misery with them because you don't want to bring them down. But you can't hide it from them. And so, I keep saying that I'm so glad that I raised my girls when I did, because if I had to be a parent today, hi Dios míos, I would, oh my God, I know that I would be chain smoking and drinking. The crime, the social media, the dating world sucks. I mean, the schools are awful, so thank goodness my girls are grown. Now I have to worry about my future grandchildren. But um, when we were growing up, my grandfather watched the news every day, 3 times a day, in the morning, in the afternoon. It might be 4 times a day. In the evening news around 6 or so, and if he was up, he watched the 11 o'clock news. And he read the newspaper every single day. And so that's how we grew up. And For instance, when I started working, I would watch the news as I was getting ready for work. And then on the way into the building, I would buy the newspaper. And then if somebody else had a different newspaper, I read that. And so my brothers and I were groomed, if that's the right word, to pay attention to the world and read the news. And I want to say maybe about 10 years ago, I decided that I couldn't do it anymore because the world coming into your living room, and it's bad enough that I am in a position where I have to be on social media every day. So I couldn't do both because it made me sad. And so I remember that I know different people that follow different spiritual journeys. They take breaks, they take fast. Um, I think, in April, people do a 30-day fast or different things like that. And last year, I think it was last year, my oldest brother, did a social media fast. And I remember at the time, I was like, oh my God, no. How could I do that? But you have to. I've had in the past year, I think I've maybe 2, 3 days off of social media. I just shut down. But I've never gone longer than that. But now that with everything going on, and it really is an invasion of your world because there's no way around it. Even if you say you have Facebook, like me, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter, and Twitter is just, oh my gosh. But say you have all of those platforms and you're going from platform to platform, there's no real regulation. So people are going to say whatever the hell they want to say, especially on Twitter and TikTok. Um, and sometimes it's offensive. Sometimes it's depressing. Sometimes, don't get me wrong. There's entertainment, and there are people that I love to watch, love to listen to, but the bulk of it to me seems to be it's just toxic, celebrity news, music. And I know that I'm old lady now. I've been an old lady all my life, but anyway, I'm an old lady now. And so I'm one of those people that is like, what, back in my day, the music, whatever. And every generation has that, there's always somebody pushing the envelope. But social media, the difference is that when we were growing up, we didn't have social media. So when you came in and you closed the door, if you didn't watch the news, then you were good. But now everything is broadcast into our souls. And so I want to suggest and discuss some of the ways that we can take a break. Social media break. So a social media break means that you can do it different ways. So some people, they will log off, like my girlfriend did, log off and a month. She didn't go on a certain platform for a month. I know people, like I said, for spiritual reasons, different times throughout the year, they will do 30 days or 40 days. You guys know that I'm a biblical idiot, so I think it's a 40 days or something like that people will pick something that they're going to give up. And I know people that log off of social media completely for 40 days. But then you can, if you can't, like me, log off for 30 days, then pick a time, So this last time that I did it was for the weekend. And what I did was I logged out of, I think, 2 of my platforms, Instagram and Facebook. I think I logged out. Not even Instagram. I think it was Twitter and Facebook. I logged out completely. So, and I disabled the app on my phone, and I have 3 or 4 phones. So, and, the other 2 phones, I don't have Facebook on them, or Twitter, I think. So it was difficult, but it was a little bit easier. But on my main phone, I disabled everything for a weekend. Last year when I did it, it was 3 days, and it may have been more, almost a week, which was so scary for me because of the depression. Um, I get lonely because I don't go out every day. I don't have people coming over every day. I don't talk to people every day. And so, honestly, social media is a distraction for me. Not even a distraction, but it makes me feel like I'm in interacting with people in some form. And also, you guys, being on the different platforms, I get to interact with people that that follow me and talk to me and are living with the same issues as me. I have other advocates that I interact with. So it gets kind of difficult for me to log off completely, but I think we have to, guys. I think we have to, pause, because if we don't pause something, then we're gonna break. And some of us are already broke, broke and broken because of some of the things going on in the world. And I know that it's hard to not know completely what's going on in the world, but we have to find a way to start filtering out what comes into our homes, in our lives. Um, so that's one of the things that you can do. Pick a time frame, 1 day, 2 days, or you can do it in stages. You can do 1 day and see how it goes. The next time, 2 days, and so on and so forth. I can't wait for the day that the time to come where I can get to a week. I think the longest that I've gotten to is maybe 4 days. Um, but you pick your time frame. You pick what you're comfortable with, and if you're, you know, with other people in your home, living with other people, even at work, let people know that this is what you're doing for this time period, and you don't want to hear their stories. You don't want them to bring you, the Wiz. Don't nobody bring me no bad news. The Wiz is one of my favorites, absolute favorites. Anyway, you let them, let the people around you know that you don't want this filtered into your soul for that period of time, and try to stick to it. Now, listen, nobody's going to give you a spanking if you don't do it, but at least start somewhere. And if it's not a day, how about if you get home from work at 7, from 7 o'clock p.m. until the next day, you sign off of social media. That's something, because you're doing different things, and that's the second thing. If you don't take a complete social media break, find something else to do. Read a book, draw, color, crochet. Find I don't want to say find a hobby, because I believe that everybody has a hobby, and just maybe tap into that and do that. I have me and my hobbies. Of course, I love to cook and I love to make jelly and jams. But when I don't do those things, I color. I have, listen, I have crochet kits around the house. I have a million books. But reading is difficult for me. But last night, I'll tell you, last night, my friends over at NAMI Durham, North Carolina, had a workshop, and it was a art as therapy type of workshop. And we all got to pick our medium that we were going to do for a certain amount of time as we were with each other, even though we were on Zoom. Some people colored, I colored, another person drew, they had music playing. So we were with each other, but not with each other. But we all had different things going on artistically. And that was a way. And I did that. I think the workshop started at 6, and then I left the workshop at 7 and went to Bible study. So I did have 2 hours or so just doing other things. And I want you to tap into that. When if you come home and you're cooking and you're used to putting on the news as you're cooking, or, helping the children, maybe put on your Amazon or YouTube on the television and play some music instead of listening to the news. Maybe play games with your family members instead of listening to the news. The weekends are, I'm sure the weekends are hard because people have errands and different things to do, but, just try to carve out a little bit of time for yourself, to soothe your soul and find what makes you happy and brings you a little peace. And you set a time limit, 1 day, 10 days, 30 days. And then when you go back on, do you guys know that the social media platforms have timers, right? And so you can put, say, Instagram, which I just found about 2 weeks ago. You can put your time that, like, say you can only be on there for an hour. You can set it and it'll remind you. I think that Facebook has the same thing. And then a lot of phones, I know the Android does, the iPhone and my iPad has alarms also. And so you can say that you're only allowing yourself to be on Instagram from 7 to 8, and then it'll notify you at 8. So, you're regulating yourself, so to speak. So we can try to do that because, listen, what the hell is going on in the world? I mean, what the hell is going on in the world? The newspaper, I don't know how many people read newspapers anymore, but, going online, every day to see what's going on. I was listening to Amanda Seales, the comedian, and she said that she wakes up at 6:30 and she instantly starts looking at the news and reading to find out what was going on while she was asleep. And I know that a lot of us are like that. We want to know what's going on in the world immediately. Or say you're getting up to turn on the news, you want to see the weather, or you want to see what traffic is like. But you can't just filter that out. So if you get up in the morning, instead of turning the news on, turn to the Weather Channel and see what's going on. Maybe find a traffic app on your phone so you don't have to turn on the TV to check the traffic. But you set your limits and you decide what you're going to give up, even if it's just one platform. Twitter, out of all the social media platforms, wears me out. It completely wears me out because there is no fucking filter on Twitter. None. None that I can think of. And so, what's coming through. And I thought when I first started getting more into Twitter that there were filters. There was a way to filter it out. But no, doesn't matter who you follow, who follows you. There's shit that always gets through. So pick your poison. If whatever social media platform is more for you, causes more anxiety for you, then maybe turn that off for a couple of days or a couple of hours and find things to do. You guys know I did a whole episode about art as therapy, and when I discovered what it does and how it helps, it really, I'm not going to say it changed me because it didn't change me, but when my anxiety is at an all-time high, panic attacks, not being able to concentrate, I have my coloring pages and my gel pens right next to me when I'm working, so if I start to zone out or things start to get too much, I can just pick it up and start coloring. So, think about doing that and taking a break. And I know it's so hard. I know that it's so hard, but guys, the world is hard. And yes, we want to save the world. Yes, we want to save people, but we can't do that if we don't save ourselves. Like the old, what the stewardess tells you the flight attendants tell you on the plane, put your mask on first before you put a mask on anybody else, because you can't save them if you don't save yourself. And we have to start looking at it that way. Find some peace. I say that every single day. And I don't care if it's 5 minutes. I don't care if it's 5 days. find peace. And I don't give a shit what it is. You know, whatever your vice is, you know what I'm saying? Do what you have to do to take care of your soul and get some peace, because no one's giving it out anymore. You know, no one is giving it out anymore. So, um, another concept that I saw when I was doing some research today is a mental health kit. And let me start backwards. When I went to therapy last week, I was talking to my therapist about how I have imposter syndrome, and it's horrible, you know. And the short version is that I don't think that anything I do is a big deal. And you know, one of my friends said that I'm starting a movement. I started a movement. One of my family members said that, you know, I have a brand. You know, somebody said, oh, you're an expert in your field. None of this shit reaches me. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see it. And so my therapist last week, she said, maybe you should start a kudos file. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And she said, when you receive feedback or, you know, emails or accolades, put it in a folder. And whenever you're feeling down, you can go to that folder and look through it and make yourself feel better and understand that you are doing your part in changing things and that you are worthy of accolades. And so I thought that was a good idea. And then my cousin said, why not start I forgot what she said. What if it goes okay type of situation, because we were talking about how we always expect the worst outcome. And so pick, you know, every day say, well, I have to do this. And if it all goes well, then the outcome will be that. And always try to make it a positive outcome. You know, like if I make this phone call, the person's going to hang up on me or they're going to tell me no. That is the way I think. But why not reframe it and say, when I make this phone call, the person is going to help me and give me everything that I need and everything that I want. And that could be the outcome. And so I thought both were great ideas. And so when I saw the mental health kit, then I said, okay, I got to share that too. And it's different things. A mental health kit could be the phone numbers of people that know who you are and what you go through and will respond to you. They'll either respond by text or respond by a phone call and listen to what you have to say and help you get through it. A journal to just scribble. You know, you don't even have to write anything. You don't have to be a great author or anything. Just write, you know, for 5 minutes. Write down in your journal how you're feeling. A dump, if you if you will. And keep one, you know, by your bed. Keep one in the living room where you sit. If you're in the bathroom for a long time, keep one there, you know, wherever you're going to spend some time. A note that tells you what you can do in the midst of a panic attack, anxiety attack. I know that I always tell, you know, I have quirky ways, but, you know, one of the things is that you can go outside, you know, either on your patio or right by your front door or into the bathroom, because the bathroom floor is always the coldest. And if you do this barefoot, it instantly grounds you because you're starting to connect to that feeling instead of the panic and the anxiety. So that's one of the ways and that I've done it. You know, I know that I've had times where I could be out, and because I get anxiety in certain situations, and I will stand there and I know people will think that it's horrible, but if I'm online or if I'm in a store and I'm starting to have a panic attack, I will take one shoe off and place it on the ground, you know, for 1 minute or 2 minutes to ground myself. And so I know that that's my option when I get anxiety and panic. So keep a list of things that work for you. A list of reasons to be grateful, because no matter how much the monster screws with me every single day, I am grateful. I'm grateful when I wake up every day. I'm grateful if I can put some clothes on every day. I'm grateful every day for my children and my brothers and family members and amazing friends. I'm grateful for those things. I know that sometimes it seems like I'm not because I'm always depressed, but I am grateful. So maybe keep a grateful log, and you can write down what you're grateful for, and you can go through and read it in times of need, or you can update it every single day. Um, I have I'm always finding stuff, but I found a to-do list that includes space for what are you grateful for today? And then at the end of the day, it'll say, um, write something wonderful that happened to you that day. So maybe you can talk about that. A playlist, again, during the workshop yesterday, playlist was amazing. I even had them send it to me, post it to give it to everybody because it really was a great playlist. If I am in a horrible funk and I have to do stuff, Donna Summer, Donna Summers always does it for me. I put on Let's Dance and that's it. I'm gone. So have a playlist. When I'm driving sometimes, and I'm in that mood, DMX, always DMX. God rest his soul. I love DMX, but if you got to get hype and you're getting ready to go somewhere, you might have to kick some ass. Find a playlist for that too. But find your joy, as they say. Make sure that you have access to things that will calm you down, that will help you push through. Um, and like I said, if you have different ideas, share them with me. Share them on your pages, so you can help someone else because I can guarantee you that someone is struggling just like you are. If if they have feelings at all, they are struggling to see, struggling watching what's going on in the world. So help yourself, help others, share. You don't have to share everything, but you can share that you're feeling anxious, restless because of the different things going on in your life, and share how you cope. You know, um, and if you want some ideas from me, like I said, I can send you a coloring sheet. I find them on Pinterest, and I've actually started creating some of my own. But I can send you, if you contact me, I can send you a coloring sheet. I can tell you where to get some good gel pens. um, I can tell you where to find little kits. They have the diamond kits now where you use diamonds to create like a painting. They have, I think I have a little crochet kit here to, you guys know I love elephants, and I have a little crochet kit here, how to crochet an elephant. Um, but yeah, if you need help or if you need some ideas, let me know. I will definitely share with you. And like I always say, if I don't have the answer, I'm going to find somebody that has the answer. So, guys, take care of yourself. Please, please. And if you ever feel like it's becoming too much for you, because it is, I'm going to be honest with you, it is becoming too much for me. And I don't share that with anybody, really, because people don't understand, but it everything is, um, is touching me lately. And I'm sort of, when you when you see pictures of people walking into the ocean, and as you walk and walk, as they walk and walk, the water's rising above them until it's over their head. That's how I feel. Like I am in the deepest part of the ocean, and so every day I have to find a way to keep fighting. I have to find things to keep me busy. And shit, even if that means that I got to take a nap 2 hours after I get out the bed, then that's what I have to do because I have to preserve me. So don't be ashamed, if it's too much, if it's becoming too much for you. Um, Pick your closest friend, your closest ally, and let them know that, you need to get out, or you need to talk, you need to text, anything that you need, make sure that you keep at least one person close to you that knows your situation. And you don't have to be specific. You can just let them know that there may be times when you need to call on them. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to say the same thing about themselves, So we're in the holiday time, which is a lot for some people. We are in the sad season for the fall and the winter, seasonal affective disorder. We have, the human race is going crazy. Don't be ashamed. Please don't be ashamed. And if you do find yourself where you don't have options close to you, then call 988. Text the crisis line, 741-741. The organizations, Mental Health America, NAMI, reach out, log on to those sites and get some help. Most of them have virtual options now where you can go to a support group virtually. Me, I have the resource section, a huge resource section on my website, divawithdepression.com. Go there. Please go there. And if you don't have anybody, if you don't have access to email and you have access to social media, DM me anywhere. And listen, if you ever met some of my friends and people that are close to me, when they need information, they call. They know that they can call me, and it could be help for them or help for anybody, someone they know. And I'm willing to do it because I don't want anybody to feel the way I feel. This is painful. It's a painful way to live. When you have mental illness, it's painful. When you have physical illness, it's painful. When you have both, it's hell. So I started this platform, and I continue to do this because I don't want anybody to feel like I feel. So please find some peace. Surround yourself with people that love you and understand you, and find an outlet, and just take care of yourselves, okay? And I will talk to you guys next week. Thank you so much for putting up with me. Thank you for listening to my rebroadcast last month. Thank you for coming back this month. And just thank you for supporting me. So many of you encourage me and support me, and I am eternally grateful. If you're not already subscribed, divawithdepression.com. If you don't want to subscribe to my website, then follow me on one of the social media platforms. Reach out to me, email me. I love your feedback. I love your questions, anything. Like I said, if you want to let me know what your outlet is so I can share with other people, do that too. Thank you to Illumination Media and Technology for all they do for me. Guys, find your peace, find some joy. Remember that even if you don't have anyone else in your life, you have me. Okay? Take care.